fully enjoying the American dream. Luxurious homes and plenty of healthy food on the table every day. Now, they're driving the family car, one of the most expensive models of the year. And just like the other families in the neighborhood, everything seems perfect. Alice is friendly and has many friends. Every day, Jack and the other men in the neighborhood leave for work, heading deep into the desert that surrounds their city-like community. Meanwhile, Alice and the other women stay home, taking care of household chores to maintain their luxurious lifestyle while waiting for their husbands to return in the evening. The women know nothing about what their husbands do out there in the desert, only that it's part of a secret government project known as Project Victory. But they don't question it. There are 2 strict rules they must follow. 1. Don't ask unnecessary questions. 2. Never enter the desert surrounding the town. Breaking Rule 2 means facing severe consequences, perhaps even extermination. A friend's dark fate. One day, Alice's friends, Bunny and Peg, attend their ballet class before heading to an upscale boutique for some shopping. However, one of their former friends is no longer part of their group, Margaret. She has been acting strangely, completely losing her mind. Margaret had broken rule number 2. She ventured into the desert, taking her son with her. When she returned, her child was gone, never to be found. Margaret is convinced she was punished for her curiosity. A party, a warning, and a strange discovery. The community gathers for a party at Frank and Shelley's house. Frank is the leader of the entire area. Everyone works for him. The party is lively, and everyone is having a great time until Margaret loudly declares that they don't belong in this place. But no one takes her seriously. Alice, however, can't shake the thought. She watches the others carefully. Sensing her unease, Jack leads her to a private room and gives her a pill. Confused by what just happened, Alice tries to tell Jack about her suspicions, but he refuses to listen and ignores her concerns. Later, while preparing dinner, Alice notices something bizarre. The eggs she cracks open are completely empty inside. Disturbed by this strange discovery, she decides to take a trip to the market to buy fresh eggs. She boards the town's trolley, but suddenly witnesses a plane crashing in the distant mountains. She knows she isn't supposed to go there, but she ignores the rules and heads toward the crash site. When she arrives at the mountain, she discovers a dome-shaped building. She tries to call for help, but when she touches the glass, she experiences intense hallucinations and collapses. When Alice wakes up, she's in her home. She hears Jack in the kitchen, which surprises her. He never comes home from work this early. But more than that, she doesn't remember how she got home from the mountains. She asks Jack what's going on, but he gives no clear answer. He insists that she was already home when he arrived and dismisses her story about the plane crash as just a bad dream. A nightmare begins. Alice's life starts to feel more like a nightmare. During ballet class, she sees something eerie in the mirror, something that seems to confirm what happened to Margaret. Terrified, she decides to visit Margaret's house. When she arrives, she finds Margaret standing on the rooftop. Before Alice can say anything, Margaret suddenly jumps. Strange men in red suits appear, swiftly removing Alice from the scene. That night, when Jack returns from work, Alice tries to talk to him about her fears and suspicions about their community. But once again, he refuses to believe her. He tells her that Margaret had simply been cleaning her windows and fell by accident. Dr. Collins, Frank's business partner, supports this version of events, reassuring Jack that Margaret's fall was just an unfortunate household accident. As Jack gives Alice a sedative, she notices a document in his bag titled National Security Threat. Full of curiosity, she grabs it, but before she can fully read the notes, Jack takes it away from her. She doesn't get the answers she was hoping for. Determined to uncover the hidden truth, Alice knows she is now in serious danger. The community's celebration and a sinister connection. Later, some local residents head to a happy hour event. Alice realizes she can no longer stand being surrounded by these clueless people who seem completely unaware of the dark secrets lurking in their neighborhood. She asks Jack to leave with her, but he doesn't pay attention. He's too busy discussing a business deal with Frank about becoming his business partner. To Jack, this is more important than anything else. Alice leaves and goes to the restroom, where Bunny finds her. Bunny notices that Alice looks deeply troubled and asks her what's wrong. Alice tells her everything. Her suspicions, her fears, the plane crash, and everything she has noticed in the mountains. But Bunny, like Jack, doesn't believe her. She advises Alice to forget about all of this, at least for now. They return to the main hall, where the guests celebrate Jack's promotion. A chilling revelation. A few days later, Alice and Jack invite their neighbors, including Frank and Shelley, over for a barbecue. While Jack is chatting with his friends, Frank walks into the kitchen where Alice is preparing food. To her shock, Frank brings up her conversation with Bunny. He hints that she might be right in her suspicions, that something isn't quite right, but she doesn't understand what's really happening yet. Alice is stunned by Frank's honesty. After all, he's the man in charge of Project Victory. During dinner, Alice makes an unsettling discovery. All the couples have identical love stories. They all had their honeymoons in the same places, were born in the same cities, and have eerily similar backgrounds. Realizing this strange and sinister pattern, Alice tries to wake everyone up to the truth, urging them to see what's really happening. But no one listens. They pretend not to believe her. Now, Alice knows she isn't crazy. Margaret wasn't insane either. She was silenced. A desperate escape and betrayal. Later, Alice makes one last attempt to convince Jack to leave with her. She begs him to escape this cursed place. To her surprise, Jack finally agrees. Filled with hope, Alice rushes to pack their bags. But the moment they get into the car, she realizes the horrible truth. Jack has no intention of leaving. Before she can react, men in red suits appear. They drag Alice away, taking her to an unknown secret facility. Dr. Collins and his team subject Alice to painful examinations. During this torture, she regains part of her memory and recalls her past life. She was a hard-working surgeon, working long hours to support herself and Jack, who had been unemployed for years. After a few days, Alice returns home to her husband, Jack. However, she does not remember what happened recently. But the hallucinations still haunt her, reminding her of the truth about her past. Now, she finally understands what Project Victory really is. It is not a real place. It is a perfect reality simulation, an illusion of the American dream that does not exist in the real world. Frank and his team created this scientific experiment to study human behavior in a perfect world. They wanted to see how people would act when given everything they needed to live a luxurious and comfortable life. Jack was always part of this project. He convinced Alice to join, telling her it was a social experiment for the government with great financial benefits. But this was not the truth. The real story was much darker. People in the community lost their minds because they were trapped in an endless cycle. Every day, they took medication to block stress and depression caused by the repetitive and meaningless routine. That is why the town was built in the middle of the desert. It was designed to trap them inside. There was no escape. Anyone trying to leave would die from dehydration after spending just one day under the burning sun. Now, Alice understands that she is trapped inside a scientific illusion, like a matrix, created to make people believe they have a perfect life. Jack tries to convince her again. He tells her he helped create this reality so they could live a happy life together forever. But Alice now knows the truth. Jack explains that in this world, men trick their wives into joining the simulation, making them believe they are in a perfect social paradise. However, the people in this place do not feel real happiness. They only experience luxury and comfort without effort. Every day, they take drugs to remain obedient and avoid questioning their existence. Alice refuses to stay. She wants to go back to reality, even if the outside world is not perfect. But Jack will not allow it. He has a good salary here and refuses to go back to his old life of failure and unemployment. Jack grabs Alice, trying to stop her from leaving. She fights back and hits him with a glass jar. The scene cuts to Frank. He receives a message that Jack has been killed by his own wife. He immediately orders his men to capture Alice. Alarms ring in the streets. Bunny rushes into Alice's house, shouting for her to run. She warns that they are coming to take her away. Bunny confesses that she knew everything but kept quiet because she had children and lost everything in the real world. She explains something terrifying. If Jack died inside this virtual world, he also died in real life. No one can disconnect from this simulation without terrible consequences. This fake world keeps everyone under the influence of drugs, preventing them from escaping. Alice runs into the streets. Her dress is covered in blood. The people around her start having hallucinations when they see her. The scene cuts to Frank. He talks to Shelley on the phone and says he has decided to eliminate Alice. Frank says she wants to take back control of her mind. I have no other choice. Alice remembers the plane crash and realizes she must reach the mountaintop. There, she once saw a strange dome-shaped building. It might contain a portal back to reality. She jumps into a car, leading to a high-speed chase through the city. Frank's men follow her, but she escapes and reaches the top of the mountain. There, she sees Jack alive. Jack begs her to stay. He tells her they can be happy together in this dream world. But Alice has already made her choice. She touches the glass of the dome and suddenly wakes up in the real world, leaving the fake world of Project Victory behind forever.